Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Fun Friday. Welcome back to Haus of Wrestling. It's me, Nick Hausman, joined as I am twice a week by my good friend, Innes McVey. Innes, welcome back to Haus of Wrestling.
Thank you, Nick. I'm very excited because tomorrow we have one of the rare international pay-per-views where I can actually watch a show at a normal time. I can look out and I will still see the sun outside. I'm very, very happy.
Oh man, it's nice, you know. It's good not having an American New Japan Pro Wrestling schedule.
Yeah, it's for every pay-per-view. It's not that fun staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning to watch wrestling. It's quite a hassle.
Well, if you are watching us live, you're watching us record live, you are a ClubHaus member. We thank you so much for your patronage. And if you are listening to us in podcast form or for free after the fact on YouTube or wherever, we appreciate the hell out of you as well. We got a lot going on here today. Very loaded run sheet. At the end of the show, I didn't pull it up, but I know I have the file. There'll be a little bit of shenanigans at the end when I have to pull it up and do it. But we're going to have Candice LeRae at the end of the show here today. And it's genuinely my favorite. Well, I had a couple favorites. This is one of my favorites from Rumble weekend because everything fell off the tracks. Children ran through the shot. They got very excited about the New Day.
You know, I think interviews are always better when stuff goes wrong. It's a little too nice when things go normal. Stuff has to go wrong for unique things to happen.
Well, then you're going to love the shit out of this interview, because it is wacky. I don't know that there's any news in it, but it's a lot of fun. I'll say that.
Excellent.
So stick around. Me and Candice LeRae and a cameo from the New Day as well. On today's show, we'll try to get to all this. We got New Japan Pro Wrestling champions, AEW's latest backstage hire, Brock Lesnar's WWE 2K24 status. We, of course, are going to preview and try to give some predictions here for the Elimination Chamber. But first, man, you told me about this on Wednesday, and I meant for us to talk about this on Wednesday, and I just blanked, probably because I'm horribly traumatized by all of this.
Yeah, but I mean, also, we had an episode without talking about Vince. So, listen, I wasn't going to complain. We managed to get there eventually.
You're right. It was a non-Vince episode, but unfortunately, we have this quote here from John Cena from the Howard Stern show. And interestingly, Howard Stern's team sent me a press release about this appearance.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. The people that reach out to Nick Hausman. And there you go, right? But they sent me their official kind of release about this appearance, and they have like 7 videos chopped up, right? They got all these quotes and stuff. But interestingly, this quote I'm about to read, not included in any of the press materials for this particular Howard Stern appearance. Isn't that odd?
Interesting. That I wonder why they would cut that out. I wonder what the contents of it is, and maybe that'll give us a hint.
Well, let's hear. I'm going to read this. I'm not going to try to do a John Cena impersonation. I'm a general kind of white guy, so I, unlike Innes, I have no Scottish accent. I just speak like an American, and so this will just envision John Cena here. Now, here's the quote. He's asked about the Vince McMahon allegations, and he says, "I don't think it's complicated to talk about. It's complicated to listen to. Yikes. That's why I don't necessarily put a lot of time and equity into it. Double yikes. There's still a long way to go. I can say this. I'm a big advocate of love and friendship and honesty and communication. In the same breath, I'm also a big advocate of accountability. If someone's behavior lies so far outside of your value system that the balance shifts of, I can't operate in a world where this works, that's the end result of being accountable. Right now, I'm going to love the person I love. Be their friend." Pause. That person is Vince McMahon. Just want to really hit that home.
Yes.
He then goes on to say, "I love you. You have a hill to climb. There is the saying of you don't know who your friends are until shit hits the fan or your back is against the wall. That doesn't make any of what's going on any easier to swallow. Just telling someone you love them, it's a hill to climb, and we'll see what happens. That's that. It sounds so cliche, but it has to be one day at a time. I've openly said I love the guy. I have a great relationship with the guy, and that's that. It's largely my construct of operating with honesty and communication. Those are strong leads to handling any problem or achievement. The whole thing is super unfortunate and it sucks. It deals with an individual I love. Again, pause. Not Janelle Grant, Vince McMahon, return, and an entity I love. I want everyone to have the experience that I have. Not only do I tell a friend that I love them, but I switch to the entity and say, how can I help?
Oh,
Ow, woof.
oofed. Yeah, that is. I'm not super surprised because let's be honest, John Cena does not have a great history with handling controversies like this. But my God, that is a tone deaf response if I've ever read one.
Wow, this man, like, oof.
It sounds like he's talking about the victim rather than the person accused. It's baffling.
So bad. So bad. This is why The Rock hasn't said anything, because he put his foot in his mouth like this. I'm pretty sure. Just an awful take, especially considering the allegations. I would say as little as possible. And then you contrast this with somebody like Bret Hart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's like, yeah, I had a fatherly relationship with Vince, right? That is no longer the case, you know, and like you see growth there. Honestly, John's sentiment and thoughts on this particular issue, I find to be so disturbing that I would not be shocked if this man winds up having to testify in either of the SEC or DOJ investigations. If he is so close with Vince that he still loves this man and he wants to help this man. Oh my Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I really wonder what is it. Even John Laurinaitis is distancing themselves from this
know. It's like, even in contrast, because like I think right within the hour, Randy Orton comments about it also came out. And granted, his weren't as strong as Bret Hart's, but it still had a much better sentiment than this did. But
yeah,
it's baffling.
Seth Rollins has been asked about it twice. He's like, it's awful, and I hope anyone involved is held accountable. And that was that, right? It was like a couple sentences. He wrote a Hallmark card to a man who's a credibly accused sex trafficker. I'll say that, right? Allegedly, but credibly, right? Because, again, this woman has a lot of experience, a lot of evidence here. There's a credible allegation. That's why it's being taken seriously. Credibly accused of sex trafficking. Yikes. Double yikes. Yikes. I don't know what else to say there is to say about this. Just like yeah,
it's just a really. I'm not super surprised because again, Cena's had a history of this, unfortunately. But I don't know what it would take for this to turn because it seems like this situation just can't look any worse on the outside.
It's like, I'm gonna go see my friend Vince McMahon in Taiwan, a property of the Chinese Republic.
Oh God, oh man.
Hey, John, what do you think about what's going on in Gaza? Oh, no, stop.
Yeah, no, let's not, because I don't trust him to make a nice comment on that.
I don't know. I can't unsee this, unfortunately. I can see this. It's not that I can't. All right, let's talk about the Chamber, which you will be able to watch live, and it's going down tomorrow. We had a press event, I guess, this morning in the wee hours of the morning, where Michael Cole, I find this to be interesting. He said that it took over a month to get the Elimination Chamber structure to Perth, as they were originally transporting it through the Suez Canal, but were thwarted by pirates. So instead, it said it was driven from Miami to LA, shipped to Sydney, and then transported via train to Perth. Yeah. Well, it's
2024. How are we still getting stuff thwarted by pirates?
It sounds ridiculous, but it's actually a very serious problem right now.
True.
True. These pirates have caused a lot of commerce issues, and it sounds whack. It does sound like the basis of a Hollywood film, right? Like WWE stuff. And
you picture the stereotypical pirate, but it's certainly not that, obviously.
No, it's more like what was that Tom Hanks movie? Captain.
I've seen a lot of comparisons made to that. I don't know what film it is, but I have seen quite a few made to that.
I want to say Captain Ahab, but I know that's not right. But anyway, Captain Phillips, I believe it was.
That's it.
So, just a little anecdote there about how difficult it was to get this actual structure to Perth, Australia. But before we get to the chamber matches themselves, let's talk about what is quickly become one of the most important segments on the show, the Grayson Waller effect, as he's going to have Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins on, and some interesting updates here as far as Cody and Seth go. The Observer saying that Cody, and we already kind of knew this, but Cody was told the day of the Rumble the plan was for Rock versus Roman despite his Rumble win. And it sounds like the match between Cody and Roman then would be held off for a later date, which again, I don't know who's huffing lead over there, dude, but that is a terror. Like, why? What?
It's so weird. I mean, I guess it gets Roman Rock in the main event, but still, it just makes the Rumble look silly because what's the point?
Well, and you also know the fans want Cody to get this opportunity. So you're going to purposefully give them something and then take it away, which you know is going to get you heat, and then kind of force The Rock into the situation. This does just sound like The Rock came in with demands. Does it not?
Yeah, and they've just had to, as we so eloquently put it over the last couple of weeks, wing it, which is becoming very apparent.
Yes, it does feel like they're just winging it. And because Hunter has certainly been consistently booking a product that I think the fans have been enjoying. This just all feels so different than any of that, right? Even the tone, and I don't want to beat a dead horse because we talked about the promo a lot, but even the tone of The Rock's promo on Friday, I felt just so unlike what the product has been recently. And I don't know if I really kind of thought that was for the better. It just felt different to me. Felt off.
It certainly feels like there's some sort of creative clash between Hunter's vision and most likely Dwayne's vision.
So then on Submission Radio, Seth Rollins said he's open to a match against The Rock at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship, which is something I think I would prefer that than this tag match, which we've gone down the road with. But what do you think is going to be? What do you think is going to go down in this segment here? Do you think we get the match tag announcement? What do you think happens here?
I don't know if you can do the match announcement because Rock's not there. I feel like you have to have Rock there to do the match announcement. I suppose they could do a tease, but they've been teasing it for weeks now. I feel like you do need something certain.
Okay, so here's the only way I see this happening, right? I would hope it goes like this. It probably won't, but I think you do have The Rock in Australia. Okay. I think it's a surprise, right? And I have him take out somebody in the chamber match. I put him in the chamber. I mean, it's the only way I could think to get this thing back on the rails. Is the bloodline is there. They're breaking rules. They're going to force their way into this match. They're going to take all the titles, yada, yada, yada.
They have said, and obviously, they can, it's WWE says, so you can take their opinion whether you want to or not. Triple H has said Rock's not there in a radio interview, and The Rock has also said in a promo he's not going to be there. So,
well, hey, okay.
You never know, but he's probably not going to be there, but it's worth pointing out. But I would prefer it if he was there. But if he's not there, then they're kind of limiting what they can do. I mean, you could announce the chamber match, the tag match, but
hey, this whole thing's been so freaking winging it. Why not just have Solo Sikoa attack LA Knight, take him out of the match?
Did it for The Rock. There we go.
Doing it for The Rock. He goes, Solo Sikoa wins the chamber, shows up on Friday and says, my high chief, I have brought you a WrestleMania championship opportunity. And Solo Sikoa delivers a match against Seth Rollins to Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I would be more interested in that. I just don't think they're going to do it. I think we're locked into the tag match at this point, which fine, whatever.
Yeah.
That's my whole thoughts on this. This is the thing. It's just, whatever. The thing is, they still have 5-6 weeks to go, so maybe they can make me interested, but
I think they're going to do the tag match night 2. I think Cody has the belt. I think Seth has the belt at the end of night 1. And then they have to put their titles on the line against Rock and Roman on night 2. I don't know what else. I mean, you're going to do the tag match the first night and then make these guys wrestle again the next night. I don't know, man. I hate this plan. They took what was a perfectly good build and ruined it.
I just don't want them. I don't want Seth tied too closely to it. I would personally rather have Seth have a separate thing. He can still be in the tag match and tied in it somewhat, but I would rather he get his own match and little story going into WrestleMania. But
all right. Well, we have Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, and Logan Paul. Who's your pick to walk out the winner?
I think it's got to be Drew. I think over the last couple of weeks, I think it's if it wasn't for the other match, I would say this is a foregone conclusion. But I think Drew is the obvious choice here.
Well, I'll do Drew as my obvious choice. My less obvious choice, I'm gonna keep Solo Sikoa in the wings. I'm gonna have him do it for The Rock, just like his dad did. No, his dad is Umaga, not Rikishi. Sorry about that.
Close enough.
No, they're different people. Ennis, I screwed up. All right, I screwed that one up. That was my bad.
You tried to swerve it away, and I just brought it back in.
No, I don't want to look away from my mistakes. I want to become a better person. Okay.
Good. Right. I'm glad you're holding yourself accountable, unlike a certain Mr. Cena.
Somebody has to. So the women's chamber match is going to have Becky, Bianca, Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Raquel Rodriguez. But the Observer noting that it would have been Jade Cargill in this match instead of Raquel Rodriguez, but that plan got changed. And on Monday night, Raquel won the Battle Royal instead of Jade. Jade was left out of the Battle Royal entirely. And the logic seems to be that they've done so much building towards Becky Lynch versus, oh my God, I'm totally blanking right now. Rhea Ripley. Yeah, sorry. I was like, not Io Sky. Becky versus Rhea. And so to kind of put Jade in there and have her lose after losing at the Rumble, they, I guess, don't see that as a great presentation, which fine. But again, but these are like, usually with the chamber, like, I don't know, there's kind of, maybe it's somebody, these are pretty obvious winners, I feel like, this time around.
I was going to say, even more so than the men's one, this seems almost certain that Becky's winning. I mean, they literally basically telegraphed it at that kickoff event like 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, I'd be open. I mean, all the people in this match, I think I'd be relatively open to, apart from maybe like Naomi or Liv or Tiffany, someone who has less of a story. But Becky, it just seems like, the obvious choice.
I wouldn't even hate Tiffany. I wouldn't hate Tiffany or Naomi. You're right. I mean, all these women, I think, would be fine. But the match they've been building towards is Becky and Rhea. And Tiffany Stratton getting the win here and going on to win WrestleMania in her rookie year would really...
It'd be good. I just don't think there's as good a story there as it would be with Becky. I think Becky's just the best story possible. But it certainly wouldn't be a bad option for anyone else.
Well, this is going to be a women's heavy PLE. Three women's matches, only 2 men's matches on this show.
Has that ever? I'm gonna have to look into that. Has that ever like happened on a pay-per-view before? There's been more women's matches than men's.
I feel like there was I think, was it the Money in the Bank in Vegas in 2022? Well, I don't know why my brain works like this, but I feel like I had that. I feel like I had that same thought at that pay-per-view or that PLE. But I could be wrong.
That after, because I'm curious. That's an interesting statistic.
Very, very rare, though, for the women to have the majority of the card. So we have the women's tag team match going down. The Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, going to be with Io Sky defending against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. I mean, I could see Candice and Indy picking up the win here just to create some kind of dissension. Maybe you have Bayley and Dakota Kai cost them the titles here, right? To kind of set up some more friction, possibly.
I think honestly this match is more so just to get Indy on the card because she's been, she's obviously the hometown with being in Australia and the fans over there love her. If they had been more, if Indy and Candice have been like more prominent on TV as of late, I would maybe say yes, but it kind of feels like ever since Candice came back, they've not really done a huge amount with them, which is a shame because I really loved their stuff in NXT, but I don't know. I mean, I'd be open to it. I'd be very happy with it, but it would seem a bit out of nowhere to me.
Yeah, well, again, you get that feel-good moment with Indy in front of the hometown crowd if she wins. And again, from a storytelling perspective, I think more dissension, more kind of a tear, miscommunication with damage, using this as a device to create more tension, to put more intrigue into Bayley and Io Sky. That's just personally what I do. So I'll go with Candice and Indy Hartwell here for the win.
I'll go with Kabuki Warriors then. There we go. We can space off for a little bit and we'll see who ultimately comes out on top on Monday.
Well, talk about hometown heroes. Rhea Ripley. She's going to defend her Women's World Championship against Nia Jax. And this is going to be her... wasn't she Zelina Vega's opponent at Backlash?
Yes, I believe she was. Yes. Yeah, she was. Because Zelina made a comment about her like, well, this is your moment based on like Rhea mocking her over the Backlash reaction and crying. So yeah, I think she was.
This place is gonna go crazy for Rhea Ripley.
It will. I mean, it went crazy for like Buddy Murphy back in like 2018, and he was only a 205 Live guy, so it's gonna be nuts for her.
They're not gonna have Nia Jax beat Rhea Ripley, right?
No. God, could you imagine? I mean, there is a story with Nia and Becky. Goes back to the punch in the face. There is a story there. It would be ridiculous if Nia beat her in her home country, but I'm not putting it past them.
Man, yeah, right? Think about it this way. You could have Rhea lose her title. Then you have the Judgment Day taking on, I guess they're called New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. I hate that name.
Oh, is that the name? Why? Why are they not just using British Strong Style? They used it in NXT.
I have New Catch.
Mustache Mountain.
I have, here, I'm going to Google this. I pulled New Catch.
I've never heard of this.
Style.
I mean, it's not a terrible name, but British Strong Style right there, and I'm fairly sure there's no trademark issues with that.
I did pull this from Wikipedia. No.
Let's see.
This is a real thing. Yeah, they
No, WWE files trademark on New Catch Republic as a real thing. Yeah, no, as of a week ago.
Yeah, there's metro.co.uk 6 days ago. Headline: Beloved WWE tag team gets new name, but fans aren't happy.
Yeah, no wonder. I mean, it's an okay name, but British Strong Style's right there. Oh,
British Strong Style, much better. Also, we have a quarter catch crew in NXT at the moment. Way too many catches. Too many catches.
I mean, for such a rare style of wrestling as it is, there's a lot of focus on WWE lately.
Well, you could have Rhea lose her title. You could have the Judgment Day lose their tag titles here to Dunne and Bate. And that would, maybe surprise Money in the Bank cash in here from Damian Priest on the road to WrestleMania.
What do you think they're going to do with Damian Priest Money in the Bank case? Because it feels like they've missed the boat on it to me. I don't know, because there was a whole idea, I think a couple months ago, Damian literally said, I can't cash in on Seth because he's injured, which that's the entire point of Money in the Bank. They've done it countless times. It just kind of ruins the whole concept of it. So I don't know what they can do to make it look interesting anymore.
I would bet that they haven't thought past WrestleMania, so they're just like, we'll figure it out. Maybe they've got some loose ideas going forward, but he's starting to feel more and more like a guy who's gonna have a failed cash into me.
Yeah, I think. It might have been better to have LA Knight win it back then, but again, I don't know if they could have seen like the whole stuff with Punk and Rock coming in, so I think we'd still be in the same situation there.
Yeah. So we'll see here, but yes, we're both pretty safely saying Rhea, right? And then Judgment Day retains as well, or no?
I'll go with the New Catch Republic. Why not? I think I would like to see them as champions. I think it would solidify Pete turning back into Pete Dunne rather than Butch.
Man, if that's the opening bout and they lose the tag titles, my antenna are going to be straight up about a possible Money in the Bank cash in by the end of the show.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a really interesting way to do it, especially with, I don't even know, well, Roman's not there, I don't think. Seth's at Grayson Waller effect, so I suppose you could do that. But...
I was about to say you could do it in the Grayson Waller effect segment.
I suppose you could, yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah, and then Waller is a skeezy little heel. He could probably get in on the beatdown or something, or do something to get some attention on himself. Or maybe Damian goes for the cash in and Cody stops him. Right? That could be part of the Grayson Waller effect segment. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, it's been a while since he did even try to cash in, I think. So it'd be worth something just for intrigue more than anything else.
Yeah, again, and you know what? As I say it out loud, them opening the show and losing the tag titles, and then having everybody kind of on edge throughout the night about like, oh, is there going to be a cash in now since Damian Priest is walking around all pissed off backstage in Perth, Australia? I don't hate that. I think it'd be kind of cool.
Not good. That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
Looking ahead to WrestleMania, the Observer saying that, or no, this is WrestleVotes was saying that WWE in talks with Sylvester Stallone about a Philadelphia WrestleMania appearance. Of course, that was the backdrop to Rocky. As of now, Stallone has a scheduling conflict. Possible that changes, but yeah, I mean, you get Stallone doing the Rocky run up in Philly to open the show. I mean, that's it. That's the whole thing, right?
It's wild that this WrestleMania looks like it's going to have more celebrity star power than the WrestleMania in Hollywood last year. It just seems bizarre to me, but I'm open to it, certainly.
Stallone is not in the Hall of Fame right now. Okay.
No, but like, yeah, no, he did a Hall of Fame appearance, I think, to induct Hogan, but I mean, you could maybe do something like that, yeah.
Well, I think didn't he like host Raw once, and like I think he's appeared on SmackDown.
Yeah, I was looking it up a couple of days ago. He had like some sort of interview on Raw to promote Rocky Balboa, but
Yeah,
I know of that, and I know obviously the Hall of Fame induction, but I don't know too much else.
They put people in for less. I could see them
True.
make it. If you can put Rocky into the WWE Hall of Fame in Philadelphia, go for it. That is a layup of a decision. Well, one person who we're not going to be seeing around WrestleMania season on screen or in WWE 2K24. Well, actually, you will see him in 2K24, but it doesn't sound like you're going to be able to play him. As Insider Gaming saying Brock Lesnar still in the game because it was far too late to fully remove every aspect of Brock Lesnar from this game, but he is unplayable unless you mod it. So I'm not like a hacker, but modding, you go in and like you can unlock Brock Lesnar. Is that what they're saying?
So generally it more consists of like there's on the console versions you can't really do anything like that, but on the PC version you can go in and change about with the codes and stuff. So what I would imagine has happened usually in the last couple of years, characters that are hidden away and locked get unlocked in the PC version, uploaded to the like custom creations hub that they have that then console players can download. So what I would imagine is going to happen is Brock will get unlocked by PC players, uploaded to that server, and then console players can get them through that. So you won't be able to get them in the base game, but I imagine fairly quickly you'll be able to get them through that.
And I imagine that some very inappropriate content with Brock Lesnar is going to be created
in
WWE 2K24.
Yeah, there will be. For years, there was stuff with Chris Benoit, so it's going to be hell with him and Vince. So that's going to be intriguing.
He's not on the roster page, as is Vince McMahon is also not on the roster page. Now, this did not say anything about Vince's inclusion in the game, but I would guess there's some iteration of Vince like floating around that will also be pulled out.
I would imagine he's the same because Vince, if I remember right, in the last couple of games, you had Mr. McMahon, which was playable, and then Vince McMahon was a manager. So I would imagine it's the same situation where he's in there and you can probably unlock him through that. It's just because they're doing one of the modes is the 40 years of WrestleMania. And you have to imagine they'd have some sort of Vince involvement in that. So unless they've removed it at the last minute. So he's got to be still in there. I'd imagine so.
Great. Awesome.
Next year, it's fine. Next year, he will be gone completely.
I think this is the most accurate kind of like depiction of WWE being literally physically unable to scrub off.
Yeah, it really is.
McMahon. You know,
he's still barely scratching on, holding there. We'll get rid of him soon.
We got an AEW note here. They put out a press release announcing Jennifer Pepperman has been hired. She's going to be working side by side with Tony Khan and helping with the creative direction of AEW. Former soap opera writer, former WWE writer, correct? That has worked with,
yes.
And the Observer saying she was very close with Mercedes Moné, and a lot of people saw her leaving WWE, coming to AEW as her likely working specifically with Moné, but now it looks like more broadly she'll be involved with the product. Good, but we've seen a lot of these revolving door types with Tony Khan over the past, and it's becoming more fluid. I feel like I hope that she comes in and gels and helps find a new direction. But we had Jimmy Jacobs, we've had Will Washington, right? We have there's any number of producers backstage. For a while the EVPs were in the room, now they're out of the room, covered in blood. I don't know what they're doing anymore, but there's just this revolving door. And so I don't mean to be jaded or glib, but I'll believe it when I see it if we see a real change in the product of AEW with her infused into the creative mix.
I think that makes sense. My always thing was I think it feels like they hire people, but very much everyone works on a bit of everything. Whereas I think AEW was at its best when it was more segmented. You had certain people working on the women's division, certain people working on the men's division and stuff. I think that's a better way of going about it. I don't think they're going to do that just because of the way the company's structured nowadays. But I mean, if she maybe works more specifically on the women's division, then maybe it could help in that regard. But I don't know.
Certainly, you know what? It is certainly nice to hear about more women represented backstage at AEW, creative and of power and all that. So Yay. Very happy to have her back there. Very happy to hear her and Mercedes are going to be working together and having fun. But again, like, I'm very much a wait and see when it comes to this, because again, we've heard this so many times. X is coming in to work with Tony and they're going to make it different. And outside of a few production changes, as of late, creatively, we haven't really seen much of a difference, in my opinion. All right. And then over in New Japan, they had new beginnings overnight. Nick Nemeth defeated David Finlay to become the New Japan Global Champion, and Matt Riddle defeated President Tanahashi to become New Japan's World Television Champion. Oops, excuse me. I'm, good for Nick. Real positive time for Nick. Riddle, obviously, again, like, especially in the wake of all the allegations and stuff, again, and people having to really sit and think about who are we supporting. Interesting guy to put your title on right now. And I hate to invoke Bischoff, but he made a comment the other day that I saw about how Lesnar might be able to find a resurgence in Japan where they keep less up with like American cultural issues and maybe just are like, oh, it's Brock Lesnar, right? So like he could go over there. Definitely feels like the cultural distancing from American news is playing in Matt Riddle's favor here, and he really needs to keep his powder dry. That's for goddamn sure.
It's a really strange decision, I think. I think over the last couple of years, New Japan have made some really strange decisions because they put two of their big single titles on two guys that are part-time when all their full-time guys that they're hedging their bets on are leaving. Jay White's gone, Will Ospreay's gone, Kazuchika Okada's gone, and yet the guys that are there, that they're supposed to be the future, are losing and not really, getting a spotlight put on them. It just seems very strange.
If I had to guess, the logic here on Tanahashi's end and New Japan's end may be that they've grown the Japanese bubble as wide as they can. Everybody in Japan knows, if you're a wrestling fan, you know New Japan Pro Wrestling. We don't need to. There's no room to grow there, right? Yeah. So how are we going to expand our footprint? We have a growing United States audience. How do we get more United States fans engaged with this product? It could be a concerted effort on that part, but if you like Coca-Cola and they change the flavor up, you run a risk of people rejecting the new Coke, right? As much as you thought it could bring people to the table. So it is, I agree, it is some interesting decision-making, but just trying to play devil's advocate, I could see why they are maybe trying to bring in more United States fans with these kinds of decisions.
Yeah, especially with their expansion to the US over the last couple of years, which I think they're probably going to try and push a bit more. Obviously, they couldn't with the pandemic over the last couple of years.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our run sheet here. About to throw to Candice LeRae. A very fun interview to wrap up the show. Again, if you're listening to us in podcast form, thank you so much. We're here twice a week. Go over, leave a nice review, rating, comment, all of that stuff. Hit the subscribe button on here or YouTube. It all really helps the cause. Monday is going to be a real busy day. We are going to be doing a Haus of Wrestling podcast early in the week. No Friday episode next week. We'll do Monday, Wednesday, me and Innes. Monday's episode is going to be looking at, obviously, the fallout from Elimination Chamber and whatever news. Obviously, we're going to be talking about how Solo Sikoa did it for The Rock and won the men's chamber.
No, you were right. Of course.
So very right. And then a couple hours later after Raw, I'll be joined by Matthew England, our good friend and gold member. We are going to talk about Raw and more news late at night. We're also going to start rolling out more interviews again on Monday, and we're just going to kind of just try to get things moving again, everybody. I want to, you're all great. Many of you support me. You say very nice things to me. I appreciate that. Innes has been invaluable to keeping Haus of Wrestling alive and functional and exceptionally understanding of the mental health struggles I've been dealing with recently. I laugh a lot because what else are you going to do? So hoping Monday to get kind of back into the system, but I have a couple ideas I'm kicking around right now that'll hopefully give everybody something to chew on and pass around and think about, and hopefully get out and get active. We're gonna do something about this. I'm so sick and tired.
Content is coming. That's what you need to know. Content is coming. Stuff is happening.
Not just content. We're talking about a movement, people. I am so tired of sitting around saying, what are we going to do? What's going to change? Nobody's doing anything right now. You got a problem in AEW, you got to go talk to the guy in the fuzzy hat and sunglasses, okay? You got a problem in WWE, just know they're doing everything possible shy of responding to my emails about what exactly that is. Okay. So, got real loud there. So we're going to do something, people. I'm thinking about it. I'm getting motivated. I'm talking to some folks right now, and we're going to get out there, man. We're going to try to change this business for the better. That's goddamn big tease on my part, and I hope I can follow up on that with a strong landing. Innes, anything you want to plug, put over here before we wrap it up?
Nope, just my Twitter at Innes_McVey. You can go. I'll probably talk about Elimination Chamber on there, but it's not on the Haus of Wrestling Twitter. You'll find my comments somewhere.
Yes, go support Innes, everybody. All right, with that, I'm going to pull up this video file that I was supposed to have all ready to go. Absolutely blew it. Just absolutely blowing it.
The premiere preparation you get through the Clubhouse. We'll cut this out in the YouTube thing. It's fine.
No, I won't. I'm going to keep this all intact. This is all staying as is. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Here it is to wrap up the show, my interview with Candice LeRae. Alrighty, Nick Hausman here, Haus of Wrestling at the Community Day event at the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club here in St. Petersburg, right outside Tampa, right?
Yes, nailed it.
Doing so well. I'm doing great. Let's start here. I mean, you got to see all these kids. They're so excited. They got this new super space pack here that's got all the video games and everything like that.
Did you take a look in it?
I did.
Pretty amazing. I wish I had something like that growing up for me.
I thought so too. Like, it's all WWE decked out and everything.
And I think that what's extra cool about it is that some of the kids here got to take part in it.
Yeah.
So the love that they put into that and to share with everybody here is so cool. Yeah, it's so cool.
And the three kids that worked on it, they got title belts, they got $5,000 in scholarship, right?
Yes, it's amazing. Yeah. Like, I love that this is here for them, and I love that, I mean, they were doing that for nothing. They didn't know they were going to get any of this, and they still did it, and I love that. They deserve it.
They're flocking to you as you're talking about
it. New Day, I would too. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're walking right past Candice LeRae to the New Day.
I was actually trying to join the New Day a little bit ago. I told them I bust out my piccolo, so I put it out there.
I'm not going to lie. This is the most unique environment that I think I've ever done an interview in my entire life. Now, you said you wanted to join the New Day.
I tried. They're actually my favorite faction, and I know I was in one, so that says a lot. They're my favorite faction of all time.
The New Day, but how can you say that?
I know, but they are. Look at them.
They're very popular.
They've withstood everything. Like, look at them.
I love WWE.
You can turn this.
You want to angle a little bit? Here, Candice is going to do it for us.
Look at that.
Fine. Should we just do the interview here?
Because I'm trying to be in the New Day right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that you could probably be a good addition. All the other stables have women, right? Why can't? Hey, are you guys down for Candice to join New Day?
I said I tried. The piccolo, see?
We literally changed.
I turned this way so I could be in the New Day.
Yes. All right. Well, she's in, I guess. Okay, we can turn this back now real fast. Okay. All right. I got time for one more question now.
I just hijacked.
No, it's all right. This is all super good.
You made my dream come true, so there it is.
This is all super good. This is all super good. Austin Theory, what's the status? You like him? You hate him? You ever see working with him on the main roster again?
I did actually just get asked if I could pick any man who is not my husband. My husband excluded, to pick Royal Rumble. I picked him because the mother sweet spot in me. What is happening? Love it. You're good. You're in this too. the mother soft spot, I want him to do really well.
Wonderful.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Candice.
The soft spot of me is luring, like, all these children are coming here to hang out and be a part of this. Thank you. But see, I'm patient with this. I love this. I'm thriving right now.
You are in the zone. Candice, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.